Right. Okay. Right. First, we'll discuss briefly this URDG 758. Okay, and then I will move on to UCP 600 questions, which I have given to you a few days back. I hope you all have done that, right? So we'll try to discuss the answers to those exercises. So those are very important when you are studying. Rather than just reading, if you do some exercises, then that will strengthen your knowledge base. Okay. The application of URDG is for demand guarantees or counter guarantees, right? Which we have discussed last week under bank guarantees. And normally the banks, when we are issuing the bank guarantees, we issue it under URDG 758, the latest version of ICC publication on bank guarantees, right? You can see this. You can see this one, huh? Students?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, right. Okay, fine. And then definitions, right? Definitions. I'm not going to cover the whole thing, but important things I will discuss with you. Advising party means the party that advises the guarantee at the request of the guarantor, right? Then the applicant means the party indicated in the guarantee as having its obligations under the underlying relationship. You can read this and then you can understand the thing, right? If it is authenticated electronic document, then it has to be authenticated, right? Okay. Business day, charges, compliant demand, and all those things. What is demand, right? Please read these things because definitions gives you the basis of these articles, right? Instructing parties, supporting statements means statements refer right. In Article 3 interpretations, branches of a guarantor in different countries are considered to be separate entities, just as the LCs. Even under UCP 600, even under LCs, the branches of a bank in different countries, are considered to be separate entities, right? For example, international banks like Standard Chartered Bank, Colombo, and we advise the LC to Standard Chartered Dubai or Standard Chartered Tokyo, right? It is same bank, Standard Chartered, but if it is in two different countries, we'll consider it as separate entities, right? The same applies to the bank guarantees also. Even though you are getting a bank guarantee or counter guarantee from Standard Chartered Tokyo to Standard Chartered Colombo, right? The Standard Chartered Colombo has received a counter guarantee from Tokyo to issue a guarantee. So based on that, they will issue the guarantee. But Standard Chartered Colombo and Standard Chartered Tokyo are two different legal entities, right? Right. And just like the UCP 600, here also from to until till, even they are in the UCP 600 under Article 3, under Article 3, interpretations, almost similar, right? From, to, until, till, right? First class, well-known, qualified, independent, official, competent, local, we don't consider, right? Allow any issuer except the beneficiary or the applicant to issue that document, right? Issue and effectiveness. Issue and effectiveness. I think you better get a printout of this one, URDG 758, and then study, right? Because I have seen since recently the examiners are asking questions on URDG. When you go through the past papers, you can find people are testing on URDG. So better read this and get some idea. A guarantee is issued when it leaves the control of the guarantor. Once the guarantor has released the guarantee, then the interpretation is the guarantee is issued. A guarantee is irrevocable on issue even if it does not state this, right? A guarantee is irrevocable. What do you mean by irrevocable? When we issue a guarantee, it says irrevocable guarantee. Even if you don't mention irrevocable, the word irrevocable is deemed to be irrevocable. What do you mean by irrevocable? What do you mean by irrevocable? Answer, students. What do you mean by irrevocable? And I asked you to check your study notes and come back to me on one more thing. Since I couldn't find anything, you have not come back to me on one thing. That is, have you done URR 725 with Mr. Bernard? Have you done? Then I can omit it. Otherwise, I'll have to do it. Right? Because URR 725 also now being tested by the examiners. So you guys promised to check and come back to me. So have you checked? And what is your response on that? URR 725. Right? එමනම් ඔගොල්ලෝගේ උත්තර කෙන්නත්ත මම කරන්නේ නෑ. ඒතර මට හිතා ගන්න මට දේසි. මොකද මම මේ ඔක්කොම රෙකෝඩ් වෙනවනේ. I have asked you, you have not come back to me. So I'll give you the time till day after tomorrow. Please go through your records and see whether you have Mr. Bernard has done that. Right? URR 725. Discussion of URR 725. Okay. Here the guarantee is irrevocable on issue when even if it does not state this. So my question was, what do you mean by irrevocable? Irrevocable means it cannot be changed without the consent of all parties involved. Without the consent of all parties involved. Right? Beneficiary may Article 5. Independence of guarantee and counter guarantee. Independence of guarantee and counter guarantee. A guarantee is by its nature independent of the underlying relationship and the application. And the guarantor is in no way concerned with or bound by such relationship. Right? So independence rule is applied here. Right? A reference in the guarantee to the underlying relationship for the purpose of identifying it does not change the independent nature of the guarantee. The undertaking of a guarantor to pay under the this WW, that part you have to delete it. Guarantee is not subject to claim or defenses arising from any relationship other than the relationship between the guarantor and the beneficiary. A counter guarantee is by its nature independent of the guarantee. Counter guarantee is an independent instrument and the guarantee is another independent instrument, right? Okay. Non-documentary conditions. I think this also I have done with you. Non-documentary conditions. A guarantee should not contain a condition other than the date or the lapse of the period without specifying a document to indicate compliance with that condition. A guarantee should not contain a condition other than a date or the lapse of the period without specifying a document to indicate compliance with that condition. If the guarantee does not specify any such document and the fulfillment of the condition cannot be determined from the guarantor's own records or from an index specified in the guarantee. Right? Contents of instructions and the guarantees, applicant, beneficiary, guarantor, reference numbers, reference number of the or other information identifying the issuing guarantee, issued guarantee, expiry date of the guarantee, what should be included there, whether a demand or other document shall be presented in paper or electronic form. Sometimes you might ask for documentary evidence of the expiry of the guarantee. Right? Documentary evidence. Like I told you, I can remember I told you to ask this COC, Certificate of Conformity, on a building, right? Certificate of Conformity. It's very important, right? The language of any document specified in the guarantee, the party liable for the payment of any charges, guarantee ke endano, right? This one, Article 9. We also have a similar article in the UCP 600. When we received an LC for advising and issuing, if you are not willing to issue, you have to inform them without any delay. The same thing, where at the time of receipt of the application, the guarantor is not prepared or is unable to issue the guarantee, the guarantor should, without any delay, so inform the party that gave the guarantor its instruction. If you are not ready to issue the guarantee, you have to inform the party who has given that information. Right? Article 10, advising of guarantee or amendment. They may go down Keva. හරියට කියවට පස්සේ කටපාඩම් කරගන්න දේවල් නෑ ඔලුවට ඉතනේ ගන්න තියෙන්නේ right ඔලුවට අර ගත්තට පස්සේ හිතලා බලන්න it's common sense right it's common sense advising of guarantee or amendment a guarantee may be advised to a beneficiary through an advising party by advising a guarantee, whether directly or by utilizing the services of another party, second advising party. The advising party signifies one to the beneficiary and, if applicable, to the second first advising bank, advising party, that it has satisfied itself as to the apparent authenticity of the guarantee. That the advising, same as the advising of LC, we have to satisfy the apparent authenticity of the guarantee, right? Given the amendments, where at the time of receipt of instructions for the issue of an amendment to the guarantee, the guarantor, for whatever reason, is not prepared or is unable to issue that amendment, the guarantor shall without delay so inform the party that gave the guarantor its instructions. The same as LCs, right? If you are not prepared, you have to inform without any delay. An amendment made without the beneficiary's agreement is not binding on the beneficiary. That's important. Any amendments made without the beneficiary's agreement, consent, is not binding on the beneficiary. Right? Nevertheless, the guarantor is irrevocably bound by an amendment from the time it issues the amendment, unless and until the beneficiary rejects that amendment. Right? E. Partial acceptance of an amendment is not allowed and will be deemed to be notification of rejection of the amendment. Right? You can't accept partial amendments. Partial amendments. One part you are okay, the other part you are not okay. So you can't do like that. Either as a whole you have to accept or you have to reject. Right? Partial acceptance is not allowed. Extent of guarantor's liability under guarantee. A guarantor is liable for the beneficiary only in accordance with, first, the terms and conditions of the guarantee, and second, these rules so far as consistent with those terms and conditions up to the guarantee amount. Right? Variation of amount. Presentation. Presentations. A presentation shall be made to the guarantor. Made to the guarantor at the place of issue or such other place as is specified in the guarantee, and two on or before the expiry. First one is at the place of issue. Other one is on or before the expiry. A presentation has to be complete unless it indicates that it is to be completed later. In that case, it shall be completed on or before the expiry. Right? Ketika මේ බලන්න මේ හැම එකම කියවන්න කම්පියුටර් එක A to Z කියවන්න all the articles, all the 30 odd articles. But I'm just discussing few. I'm just scanning. Requirement for demand. Information about demand. The guarantor shall without delay inform the instructing party or where applicable, the counter guarantor, or any demand under the guarantee and or any request as an alternative to extend the expiry of the guarantee. The counter guarantor shall without delay inform the instructing party of any demand under the counter guarantee and of any request as an alternative to extend the expiry of the counter guarantee. Right? More than one demand, multiple demands may be made. The expression multiple demands prohibited or similar expressions means that only one demand covering all or part of the amount available may be made. If there's an expression called to say multiple demands prohibited, then you can have only one demand. Where the guarantee provides, this is important, where the guarantee provides that only one demand may be made and that demand is rejected, another demand can be made on or before the expiry of the guarantee. Within that period, yes, they can do another demand if the first one was rejected. A demand is a non-compliant demand if it is more than the amount available under the guarantee. More than the amount available under the guarantee. So if, for example, if the guarantee is 125,000, right? We are claiming 145,000. This is wrong, right? Examination. The guarantor shall determine on the basis of a presentation alone whether it appears on its face to be compliant presentation. Right? Data in a document required by the guarantee shall be examined in context with that particular document, the guarantee and these rules. Data need not be identical to, but shall not conflict with data in the document, any other required document or the guarantee. Right? Time for examination of demand. Payment. If a presentation of a demand does not indicate that it is to be completed later, the guarantor shall, within 5 business days following the day of presentation, examine that demand and determine if it is a compliant demand. If it is a compliant demand. Is it similar to LCs? Is it similar to LCs? 5 business days. Article key then LC UCP 600 5 business days kata වෙන්නේ. Article 14. To examine the documents and to determine whether it's discrepant or not, you have 5 business days. Here also 5 business days. Right? මේ වෙන්න පුළුවන් ඔයගලන්ට මේ multiple choice වලට. ඒකෙන්ද මේවා කියවලා තියාගන්න. B, when the guarantor determines that the demand is compliant, it shall pay. It shall pay. Normal practice is, we normally advise the applicant. We normally advise the applicant before we pay and inform them, look, there's a claim on your particular guarantee. Right? Currency and payment. The guarantor shall pay a compliant demand in the currency specified in the guarantee. Right? If on any date on which a payment is to be made under the guarantee, the guarantor is unable to make payment in the currency specified in the guarantee due to an impediment beyond its control. Right? Normally, the payments has to be done with the currency of the guarantee. Currency of the guarantee. එහෙම නැත්නම් කියලා තියෙන්න ඕන මේක තමයි වෙන්නේ කියලා. Transmission of copies of compliant demand, then extend to pay, all these things. කියෝලම් බලන්න මේක මම නිකන් පොඩ්ඩක් කියලා තේරුම් නැහැ. මම යාන්තම් මේක important වෙන ඕගන්ට non-compliant demand, waiver and notice, right? All these things ready. Okay? I'm also just going through these things, and if there's any past papers, specifically what are the areas they have checked, I will go through it and I'll come back to you on that particular one. Right? Okay. I spent about half an hour on just going through these articles, right? But it is up to you to read and understand the articles, because I saw so many patients in the last few years, right? Okay. About 2 weeks back, I gave you some exercises on UCP 600. Today I want to finish that. I think you all have, I asked you to do it. I'm sure you guys have tried your best, right? Let's see whether your answers are correct. But you have to join with me, have a convocation. Otherwise, we have to talk, interact. Conversation is a must. Conversation is a must. There should be a good conversation between you and me. If there's any questions, then you have to check with me and clarify the gray areas, right? UCP 600. Function of this part I told you. right? For the benefit of the people who missed the other day, the people who have done this with me last time, right? Shall we go through it quickly? Case studies. There are about 25 case studies, right? A DC showing beneficiary ABC company, documents presented, under the documents presented, bills of lading showing shipper DEF company. Is this a valid discrepancy? Is this a valid discrepancy? I need the answers with the UCP articles, relevant articles. Is it a valid discrepancy? ये पर करो कट्टी क्या नमन?
Hello? Hello?
तो सद्दन नहीं है
Hello?
मतलब लेसी वगे पंड लड़बिड़ी गाला वगे करके नहीं अंडर पुलो उगलो मारते के join in it, right? Is it a valid discrepancy? Is it a valid discrepancy? No, this is not a valid discrepancy. This can happen. In fact, what do you call this? Transferable Lc. Normally, this is happening. A transferable Lc. We had the issuing bank. We issue the LC and advise the first beneficiary. And first beneficiary will transfer the LC to the second beneficiary. Right? Then the second beneficiary will manufacture the goods and ship the goods to the issuing bank. Ship the goods to the applicant's country and send the documents to the issuing bank. When they ship, they'll get a what do you call this, BA. Now this guy is ABC company. Beneficiary is ABC company. The second beneficiary is DEF company. Second beneficiary is DEF company. So the BA is issued in the name of the shipper DEF company. But this is not a discrepancy. This is not a discrepancy. This is as per Article 14K, UCP 600, Article 14K. Article 14K. What is Article 14K says? The shipper or consignor of the goods indicated on any document need not be the beneficiary of the credit. Need not be the beneficiary of the credit. Right? එහෙම නැත්නම් මේ transferable LCs අපිට කරන්න බැරි වෙනවා. Case study 2. DC called for certificate of conformity issued by competent authority. Competent authority. Right? What is the correct answer? You will accept a document. It's a multiple choice. You will accept a document. Let's see A, B, C, and D. What's the correct answer? Make Article 3. Make Article 3 interpretations. Competent authority. Terms such as first class, well-known, qualified, independent, official, competent, or local, used to describe the issuer of a document, allow any issuer allow any issuer except the beneficiary to issue that document. Right? You can go with any issuer except for the beneficiary. Even මොකද මේක හරි answer එක? ABCD. Correct answer එක මොකද? What is the answer? What is the answer?
A, sir.
This is not acceptable, my dear.
Hello?
But we want to have, especially when we are discussing case studies, you have to interact. You have to interact. If you are not interacting, then it's one-way show. Right? It is going to be a one-way show. What is the correct answer? A, B, C, D. Correct answer is A. Issued by any party apart from the beneficiary. Issued by any party apart from the beneficiary. Correct answer is A. See this one? A DC call for invoice required, bill of lading required. So in a LC, they say invoice is required and bill of lading is required. The documents presented, invoice, bill of lading, and certificate of origin. Certificate of origin. ඒක අපි ඉල්ලලා තිබුණේ. Right? Certificate of origin. Does the certificate of origin comply with the DC terms and conditions? Does the certificate of origin comply with the DC terms and conditions? What is the answer? What is the relevant UCP 600 article or the sub-article? Right? Article 14G very clearly says, Article 14G, a document presented but not required by the credit. Same thing. Certificate of origin has been presented but not required by the credit. Right? Not required by the credit will be disregarded and may be returned to the presenter. May be disregarded and be returned to the presenter. Right? So we will disregard the certificate of origin for checking, but we will not check the certificate of origin because we have not asked for it. If they have sent it, if you are not returning, what we will say, but we will just hand it over to the customer without any responsibility on our part. Article 14G. A DC call for clean onboard marine. Clean onboard marine bill of lading required. Does the word clean need to be indicated on the bill of lading? Does the word clean need to be indicated on the bill of lading? This is Article 27. Article 27. Article 27. clean transport documents. A bank will only accept a clean transport document. A clean transport document is one bearing no clause or notation expressly declaring a defective condition of the goods or their packaging. The word clean need not appear on a transport document, even if credit has a requirement. Article 27 again. Even though it says clean onboard marine bill of lading, the word clean need not be indicated on the bill of lading. Right? Okay? If I make a defective clauses, then they have to, it won't be a clean one. Defective clauses, right? The insurance policy for full CIF value plus 10% covering institute clauses. That is the DC requirement. Insurance policy for full CIF value plus 10% covering institute clauses. The document presented, insurance policy indicates an insured amount of 120% of invoice value. 120% of invoice value. Right? It's a discrepancy. Or is it all right with the terms and conditions? Is it all right? The LC is asking 110%. But what these people have presented is 120%. Is it a discrepancy? Can one of you answer? Is it a discrepancy? No, it is not a discrepancy. Again, when you talk about transferable LCs, this is a normal thing. Right? The article is Article 28. 28, insurance. Article 28. 28 F2. 28 F2. Right? You see, please, 600, Article 28 F2. F2. Right? 28 F2 says a requirement in the credit for insurance coverage to be for a percentage of the value of the goods of the invoice value or similar is deemed to be the minimum amount of coverage required. Right? If there is no indication in the credit of the insurance coverage required, the amount of insurance coverage must be at least 110% of the CIF. Right? And to make it can happen. It can happen under F2, 28 F2. This is not a discrepancy. මේ වගේ questions ඔයගලන්ට ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. ඒකින්ද පොඩ්ඩක් බලන්න මම මේකයි මේ questions ඔයාලට හදලා දෙන්නේ. This one, DC call for goods stainless steel sheets. Insurance policy covering institute cargo clause A. Document presented, just go through it. Is the insurance policy showing the exclusion clauses discrete? I need the answer from you guys. Just read it and then give me the answer. Right? DC call for goods stainless steel sheets. Insurance policy says covering institute car clause A. Right? That's under insurance policy. Document presented, insurance policy showing stainless steel sheets, okay, excluding the risk of shortage, scrap, excluding the risk of rust, oxidation. Is the insurance policy showing the exclusion clauses discrepant? Again, you have to study UCP 600 article 28I. 28I. 28I and H. Right? 28I. An insurance document may contain reference to any exclusion clauses. An insurance document may contain reference to any exclusion clauses. Enanda make exclusion clauses excluding the risk of shortage, excluding the risk of rust, oxidation, rust discrepant. This is not a discrepant document. What is H says? Right. All risk. Our clause A can all risk. Right. So under Article 28I, it is not a discrepancy. Right. DC call for invoice in triplicate. DC call for invoice in triplicate. The documents presented, one manually signed invoice plus 2 copies of the signed invoice. Right? Does the invoice comply with the TC terms and conditions? What do you think? What do you think? And what is the article? Does the invoice comply with the DC terms and conditions? DC LC invoice in triplicate. What these people have presented is one manually signed invoice plus 2 photocopies of the signed invoices. Right? Article 17, invoices in Article 17. Article 17E. Article 17E. Right? 17E. 17E. Right? What is 17E says? If a credit requires presentation of multiple documents by using terms such as in duplicate, in twofold, or in 2 copies, this will be satisfied by the presentation of at least one original and the remaining numbers in copies, except when the document itself indicates otherwise. Document take over කියලා ඔරිජිනල් එක ඕනේ එක ඔරිජිනල් එකයි අනිත් ඒවා ෆොටෝකොපිස් තිබ්බට කමක් නැහැ. එකක් තියෙන්න ඕන ඔරිජිනල්. right? Okay. Right? Case study 8. This is a very good case. A bank ABC, Perth, negotiated a set of documents under a DC issued by Bank XYZ, Vietnam. Documents were dispatched to the issuing bank. However, the documents never arrived. Which party do you think would suffer the loss, if any? Which party do you think would suffer the loss, if any? Right? Bank ABC Perth negotiated a set of documents under a DC issued by Bank XYZ, Vietnam. The issuing bank is Bank XYZ. Bank XYZ, Vietnam. Right? So, Bank ABC, Perth, they are the exporters bank, they have negotiated the document. Right? Negotiating bank is XYZ, sorry, Bank ABC, Perth. Bank ABC, Perth. Bank ABC, Perth. Right? And after that, they have sent these documents to the issuing bank for payment. But these documents never arrived Bank XYZ, Vietnam. Right? Malaysian Airlines plane එකක් වෙන්න ඇති නේද? යන එක කඩනවා. Missing වුණා නම් documents යන්නේ නැහැ. Which party do you think would suffer the loss, if any? Which party do you think would suffer the loss, if any? Any idea? Any idea? What is the relevant article? What is the relevant article? What is the relevant article? Can somebody tells me? Can somebody tell me what is the relevant article? Anybody in the class? Or it's very silent. Only Gihani is in the class, right? මේ ළමයි කියක් පහක් දෙන්නේ. අපි නෝ. මොනස කරන්නේ කිසි දෙයකට ගෑ. Only Gihani. Only Gihani is there, right? So I'm not going to penalize Gihani. I will just explain the things, right? So you can later go through these discussions and try to find the answers, right? But this is a very poor situation because this is common to online classes, but even if it is online classes, participation must be compulsory. It's a must, because only if you participate, you will have an opportunity to communicate with me, right? Without any communication, it is very difficult. You will not get the correct knowledge, right? So, okay, fine. Whether anybody is there or not, I will discuss these things and finish it off, right? But no more discussions on UCP 600, right? Because Mr. Bernard also have discussed certain queries with you. So I am discussing additional about 25 questions, right? So it's more than enough for you to answer the UCP question, right? Okay. The applicable answer for this is Article 35. Applicable answer for this is Article 35. Article 35 says, disclaimer on transmission and translation. Disclaimer on transmission and translation, right? A bank assumes no liability or responsibility for the consequences arising out of delay, loss in transit. Here, this is loss in transit, mutilation, or other errors arising in the transmission of any messages or delivery of letters or documents. When such messages, letters or documents are transmitted or sent according to the requirements stated in the credit, or when the bank may have taken the initiative in the choice of the delivery services in the absence of such instructions in the credit, right? So Article 35 very clearly says that. So therefore, who will suffer the loss? Who will suffer the loss? The bank ABC Perth will not take any liability. They will not assume any liability under Article 35. Therefore, issuing bank, XYZ Bank Vietnam, would suffer the loss. If ABC Bank was the nominated bank, and if they have nominated ABC Bank, so issuing bank will suffer the loss, right? But they have to appoint ABC as the nominated bank. They are the people who have appointed the ABC Bank, and if the ABC Bank has checked the document, there are certain things the ABC Bank has to do. If they confirm that they have checked the documents, and if they say We have checked the documents and there's no discrepancies. There's no discrepancies at all, right? And we have dispatched the document as per the requirement in the LC. As per the requirement in the LC, right? LC ke kila tina nang by courier kila, by courier, right? If the LC says under the LC conditions, it says documents to be sent by courier, whereas you have sent it by post, then you're responsible. You are not done the correct thing, then you are responsible, right? Okay. So if the LC says by courier and you have sent it by courier, then the nominated bank, ABC Bank, will wash their hands, right? There's a ICC publication number 469, the Banking Commission query on a similar issue, right? Okay. Case study 9. A DC called for a packing list, a wait list, and certified wait list. Packing list, wait list, and certified wait list, right? The documents presented, when the documents were presented, all three included a line for signature, yet only the certified wait list was signed. හැමකෙම තියෙන sign කරන්න මේ place එකක්. Packing list, wait list, and certified wait list. But only the certified wait list was signed. When the documents have gone, the issuing bank has refused the document due to the following discrepancy. They says packing list and wait list are not signed. Is this a valid discrepancy? Is this a valid discrepancy? Is this a valid discrepancy? No, this is not a valid discrepancy because a signature is a must. Signature is a must only for the certificates. Only for the certificates, right? A packing list, a wait list, they have not asked they are not certified documents, but certified wait list is a certified document. It's a certified document. Any certificate, yes, you have to sign. Just like a marriage certificate, death certificate, right? A school leaving certificates, all those things, your O-level certificate, A-level certificate, degree certificate, all are certificates. All certificates has to be signed. If the certificates are not signed, then there's no validity for the particular certificate, right? Other than that, packing list and wait list, no need to bear signatures, okay? Here's study 10. When receiving an invoice for goods worth $100,000 from the beneficiary, does the bank have to check that the shipment is actually worth that much? When receiving an invoice for goods worth $100,000 from the beneficiary, does the bank have to check that the shipment is actually worth that much? No, we don't have to worry, right? We are only dealing with documents. We are only dealing with documents. But the value and the description of goods should be correspond with the description in the credit. That's the only thing we have to check, right? We don't have to check whether it is really worth. Okay? The banks are not policemen or CID. We are only dealing with documents. Case study 11. According to UCP 600, advising bank is responsible for checking the authenticity of the DC. According to the UCP 600, the advising bank is responsible for checking the authenticity of the DC. Is the above statement correct? Is the above statement correct? Is the above statement correct? Yes. The above statement is correct. Article 9B. Article 9B. So the guys who are going through this later, the recording ones, right? When I say Article 9B, right, you have to refer that article. You have to refer that article, right? You have to refer that article, and then only you will understand the answer, right? Article 9B. What is Article 9B says? By advising the credit or amendment, the advising bank signifies that it has satisfied itself as to the apparent authenticity of the credit or amendment, that the advice accurately reflects the terms and conditions of the credit or amendment received. Right? The other one is Article 9F. Article 9F says, if a bank is requested to advise a credit or amendment, but cannot satisfy itself as to the apparent authenticity of the credit, the amendment, or the advice, it must so inform without delay the bank from which the instructions appear to have been received. Right? If you can't find the authenticity, if you can't verify the authenticity, then you have to inform the issuing bank without delay, immediately. So when you're answering a question like this, you have to refer to Article 9B and 9F. UCP 600, Article 9B and 9F. Right? This one. Jihani, can you please tell me whether you can hear me and see these presentations, because every now and then I'll have to double check, otherwise I may be just talking, right? What I cannot do. There are two people. Can
Hello.
somebody? Huh?
Can hear you, sir. This is Malsha.
Right, fine. There's Marsha, yes.
Yeah,
Thanks,
I'm
Marsha.
sorry. Earlier there was something wrong with my microphone. I was
Right.
talking, but you couldn't hear, sir.
Now it is okay?
Yeah, now it's okay.
Okay, fine. I'm just testing. The two girls, Marsha and Gihani, If there's anything, please start a conversation, because these questions are, I don't know how seriously you will take, but these are very important for you to understand the entire UCP. Once you do these things, once you complete this exercise of answering all 25, you're just going through the entire UCP, right? It is much effective than just studying, right? Okay. Unfortunately, I don't know, but I have seen these online classes, people might be prefer to join later and leisurely to go through it, right? But actually, it is not effective. It is only your active participation you can learn more, right? I don't know when we are going to come back to this active sessions, because even the lecturers feels we are also like an isolated lot, right? ඒකෙන්ද පොඩ්ඩක් ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඉන්න කට්ටිය participate කරලා ගන්න මේක pick කරගන්න ඕන අපිට. Questions also will be, it might change in the future, because when it comes to online lessons, the question එක අහන විදියත් වෙනස් කරන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් campuses වලම අපිට කියලා තියෙන්නේ not to ask direct questions, indirect and right? එතකොට දැන් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට ටිකක් අමාරු වෙනවා exams if you are not participating in the classes, right? Case study 12. If a DC specifies that shipment is to be made promptly, how is this interpreted? What is your choice? Within 30, the DC says promptly. Within 30 days from the date of issuance of the DC, 1 week after the transport document date, bank will disregard this expression. What is your choice? C. Banks will disregard this expression. Article
3 interpretation.
Article 3. Very good. Article 3. When that can participate කරන කට්ටියට තියෙන වාසිය. Now you are engaging in this conversation. Right? Article 3. The banks will disregard these type of expressions. මේවා එන්න පුළුවන් උගන්ට multiple choice වලට. Right? A DC showing description of goods. This is showing description of goods as toy gun. Toy gun. The invoice packing list showing description of goods, toy gun. Invoice packing list, දෙකේම තියෙනවා description of goods, toy gun. Bills of lading showing description of goods, toy. Right? ගන්න එක missing. Toy කියන්නේ. Does the bill of lading comply with the DC terms and conditions? Does the bill of lading comply with the DC terms and conditions? LC says toy gun. Invoice and packing list says toy gun. Bill of lading, BL says toy. Does the bill of lading comply with the DC terms and conditions? The correct answer you can say, does the bill of lading comply with the DC terms and conditions? Yes. Answer is yes. the relevant article in UCP is 14E. Article 14E. UCP Article 14E. Article 14E. All right. Article 14E says, in documents other than the commercial invoice, the description of the goods, services or performance, if stated, may be in general terms, not conflicting with the description in the credit. Not conflicting in the description of in the credit. In general terms. So toy gun is a toy. So bill of lading showing description of goods as toy. Not necessary to have the toy gun. It says toy. Your toy gun is a toy. Right? So it in general, it's okay. Right? Okay. If I ask this question, DC showing description of goods, toy gun. Invoice packet is showing description of goods, toy gun. Bill of lading showing description of goods, gun. Is it compliant?
No, sir.
No. Why? Then it is not, because it's what the DC wants is a toy. But when the BL says gun, it can be either AK-47 or pistol or whatever, real gun. Right? Completely different term. Right? I think the gun kill out there. A toy, yes. It's in general terms, it's a toy. It's not a discrepancy. Article 14E. Malsha and Gihani, both of you, can you please let me know, have you done with Mr. Bernard has told me he has discussed the UCP 600 with you guys, correct?
Sir, I wasn't there for Mr. Bernard's classes, sir.
Other person? Who is that? That's Masha.
Yes.
Gihani? Because I can't get these things from their previous PDFs also. මට හරියටම හොයාගන්න බෑ මට ඒකයි. මම ළමයිව අමාරු දාන්නත් බෑ මට. මොකද important areas තියෙනවා. මිස්ටර් බර්නාඩ් කියලා දෙනවා ඔක්කොම ටික ඩිස්කස් කරලා ඉවරයි කියලා. ඉතින් මට මේ කරලා නම් මම ඩබල් කරලා තේරුම්න්නේ නැහැ. We don't have time now. So we can discuss something else. But I think එහෙම ගිනොත් ආටිකල් 13 එක වෙනම ඩිස්කස් කරන්න වෙනවා අද රීම්බර්ස්මන්ට්. බලමු අපි. Case study 14. Issuing bank has a maximum of 7 banking days following the day of presentation to determine if a presentation is compliant. Is it true or false? Is it true or false? Is it true or false? It is not true. It is false. Why? Article 14B. 14B. Article 14B. Right? Article Article 14B. Article 14B කියන්නේ how many days? When I was discussing the URDG, similar to UCP කියලා. Examination වලට කොච්චර තිබුණේ? Maximum of 5 banking days. Maximum of 5 banking days, not 7. Right? Article 14B. Make a කියවන්න. Past papers දෙක තුනකව මේක තිබුණා. Past papers දෙක තුනකව මේක තිබුණා. Under UCP 600 questions වලට. Right? හොඳට කියවන්න. කියවලා ඉවරලා අපි ආන්සර් කරමු. මට ආටිකල් එකක් කියන්න. A DC call for shipment schedule. 100 pieces of watches, 100 pieces of watches to be shipped. Shipment schedule එක තමයි ship කරන්නේ. 100 pieces watches to be shipped latest 30th June. 100 pieces watches to be shipped latest 31st July. 100 pieces watches to be shipped latest 31st August. හැම month එකකම last date එකේ මේගොල්ලන්ට shipment schedule එකක් තියෙනවා. Latest. But before that, yes. Right? The first shipment, the document showing 100 pieces watches shipped on 30th June 09. Is it discrepant or not? Is it discrepant or not? මම මේක කළා ඔයගලන්ට එක්ක about 2 weeks 3 weeks back my first class with you I discussed with you on special types of LCs. Under that when I discuss revolving letter of credit, I discuss this. When I discuss revolving letter of credit, I discuss this with you. But බලමු මතකද කියලා? Documents showing 100 pieces watches shipped on 30th June 09. Is it discrepant or not?
No.
No, it is perfectly all right. No discrepancy. Second shipment, documents showing 100 pieces watches shipped on August 9th. Is it discrepant or not? Again, instead of 31st July, they have shipped on August.
Discrepant.
It is discrepant. Third shipment, documents showing 100 pieces watches shipped on 31st August 09. Is it discrepant or not?
No.
No. Who gave that answer?
Marsha.
Masha. How about the other girl? Unfortunately, Masha, answer is wrong. Right? Now, can you go through Article 32? Do you have a UCP 600 with you? If you have a
Yes.
yeah, please turn to Article 32 and read it and then answer me again. Article 32. මේක තමයි ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕනේ. පෙරතුනට පොඩ්ඩක්වත් මේ වෙන්න එපා. What is Article 32 says?
According to the article, sir, it says all subsequent transactions will be null and void. Like, if
Yes.
one is wrong,
You got it? Article 32 says, if a drawing or shipment by installments like this, within given period is stipulated in the credit, and any installment is not drawn or shipped within the period allowed for that installment, the credit ceases to be available for that and any subsequent installment. දැන් මෙන්න මේක තමයි මේ article 32 එකේ තියෙන ලොකුම issue එක. Installment shipments, the first one perfect, done. Second shipment not according to the schedule, then it is discrepant. From that point, the LC will be the credit is ceased. LC is ceased, cancelled. LC is cancelled, right? You can't use the same LC again if you miss even one installment, right? 100 pieces watches shipped on August. एक discrepant now. That one as well as all the subsequent ones, because LC is ceased. After that, no more LC, right? But so the answer for this one is that as per the Article 32, you have to say first one is okay, second one is no, and because of that, as per the Article 32, the LC cease to be for that and all the subsequent shipments, right? If there's no LCs, then this is the main reason which is contradicting with revolving LCs. Revolving LCs, I told you, it can be cumulative or non-cumulative, right? Cumulative or non-cumulative. So even if you miss the July one, if it is cumulative, then it will get added to the third shipment, and August එකේදී අර දෙකම එකතු කරලා එවන්න පුළුවන් 200 pieces එවන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක තමයි revolving එක. And because of that, when we open the revolving LCs, we put a clause, a separate, very special clause we have to say when we open revolving LCs. Article 32 of UCP 600 is not applicable. Article 32, because entire LC is subject to UCP 600. Entire LC is subject to UCP 600, but subject to UCP 600 except Article 32. එතකොට අපිට පුළුවන් මේ කියන්න. එහෙම දාන්න නැතුව revolving LC එකක් කරියොත් LC එකත් as per that UCP 600 it is null and void, right? ඔවා හරි important. මේ question එක මම දැකලා තියෙනවා තුන් පාරක් විතර මම දැකලා තියෙනවා. මේකමයි දෙන්නේ 100 pieces කතාවම තමයි ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ, right? Okay, any questions on this? In terms of the provisions contained in UCP 600, state what is the issuing bank's undertaking in respect of DCs. right? What is the issuing bank's undertaking in respect of DCs? Then 2, what are the responsibilities and obligations of your bank as the advising bank, right? This particular one, I don't want to discuss with you in detail because Mr. Bernard has mentioned that he has discussed the UCP with you. You have to answer this question with first section. What is the issuing bank's undertaking in respect of the DC as per the UCP 600 Article 7. Article 7. Article 7 is issuing bank's undertaking. Direct question, direct answer. What is the issuing bank's undertaking in respect of DCs? You have to write your answer. Don't copy this one and cut and paste the make a QLR, get it into your head, and then prepare the answer as per Article 7. The second question, what are the responsibilities and obligations of your bank as the advising bank? Article 9, advising of credits and amendments, Article 9, right? That also you can go through it and then prepare an answer. This one, a set of shipping documents have been presented to your bank under a DC subject to UCP 600, which has been confirmed by your bank. Which has been confirmed by your bank. You are required to comment on the validity of the below discrepancies quoted by a junior clerk giving reasons, right? A junior clerk in the department has quoted these discrepancies. Now, if you are the senior manager, you will go through it and you will either put a pat on that guy's shoulder, well done, or you will tell him about the mistake he has done, right? LC expired on 31st January 2013. LC expiry date covered the whereas documents presented on 1st February 2013 Monday. Enang 31st January ගැන කවද්ද? 31st January ගැන කවද්ද?
Sunday.
Huh? Sunday. Then what is your answer? What is the relevant article? Article 29. Article 29. Extension of expiry date or last date for presentation. It says if the expiry date of a credit or the last day for presentation falls on a day when the bank to which presentation is to be made is closed for reasons other than those referred to in Article 36. Article 36 can force measure cases arrender normal closing date The other one, even take today as an example, Friday. It's a Friday, but the bank is closed for Poya. Bank is closed for Poya, no business. So if the LC expires today, when can we submit the documents? The latest. Documents ගෙනාව අපි බාර ගන්නවා no discrepancies කියලා. කවද දැනගන්නද?
Till yesterday.
Huh?
Till yesterday.
No. ටෙලියස්ටේ දෙනවා හොඳයි ඒ කට්ටිය. එහෙම නැතුව Article 29A is closed for reasons other than those referred to in Article 36. The expiry date or the last date for presentation, as the case may be, will be extended to the first following banking day. Will be extended to the first following banking day. First following banking day again,
Next month.
next Monday, neither. Tomorrow and day after also close. So it will be on 1st of March. 1st of March. 1st of March is okay. Right? Then in this case, 31st January is Sunday. So if they have presented the documents on 1st February, we'll take it as no discrepancies. No issue. Right? Okay. The other one, bill of lading submitted is not clean. දැන් අර ජූනියර් ක්ලාක් කියලා තියෙන්නේ. මෙතන ජූනියර් ක්ලාක් වැරදි. මෙයා discrepancies quote කළා. දැන් එහෙනම් මැනේජර්ගෙන් බැනුම් අහනවා. Right? Second one, bill of lading submitted is not clean as it contains a clause shippers load and count. Shippers load and count. This is the way I am teaching the UCP 600 with case studies. So it's very effective. Unfortunately, you people have to be with me. මේ ළමයි දෙන්නට මේක හොඳට තේරුම් ගන්න පුළුවන්. Right? Bill of lading submitted is not clean as it contains a clause shippers load and count. අර junior clerk කියලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් මේකට නම් බයින්ඩම ඕන. Article 26. Article 26. Article 26B. Article 26B එක කියනවා a transport document bearing a clause such as shippers load and count and said by shippers to contain is acceptable. Is acceptable. Right? The shippers load and count කියන එක මේ discrepancy එකක් නෙමෙයි. A clause. It is acceptable. What do you mean by shippers load and count? By the way, what do you mean by shippers load and count? Shippers load and count can when you give it to the shippers load and count, the shipper tamai ship karne ke na ya kena there are 10 boxes or 10 cartons with 100 boxes inside. 10 cartons with 100 boxes inside in each carton. In each carton. දැන් මේ carton එක seal කරලා තියෙන්නේ. දැන් අපි දන්නේ නැහැ කීයද කියලා තියෙන්නේ. But the shippers load and count. Shipper has counted it and he says this is the amount inside these cartons. Right? So we will take it. අනිත් එක තමයි said by shipper to contain. Said by shipper to contain. There are sealed cartons. Now we can't open it and see. In the BL we say said by shipper to contain. Shipper කියනවා මේ carton එක අස්සේ තියෙන්නේ toys කියලා. Shipper says these are toys. Right? එතන අපි කියන්නේ said by shipper to contain toys. Said by shipper to contain toys. We have not seen that. I have not seen that. Said by shipper. So we accept those BLs. We accept those BLs. Right? That is Article 26B. Article 26B. ඒක 26 එකේ ඒකත් නිතරම exam එකට එන එකක්. A transport document must not indicate that the goods are or will be loaded on deck. Goods are goods will be loaded on deck කියලා transport document එක තියෙනවා නම් ඒක discrepant. A clause on a transport document stating that the goods may be loaded on deck is acceptable. May be loaded on deck is acceptable, but will be loaded on deck කියලා කිව්වොත් discrepant. May be loaded on deck කියන්නේ maybe වෙන්න පුළුවන්. May be loaded on deck කියන එක discrepancy එකක් නෙමෙයි. මොකක්ද එනවා නිතරම එන questions. Case study 17. මේක මම ඒක දීලා ඉවරයි. Right? BL contains a stamp stating that a bunker surcharge of $1,000 payable in addition to the freight. ඒකත් discrepancy එකක් නෙමෙයි. Article 26C. A transport document may bear a reference by stamp or otherwise to charges additional to the freight. These are charges additional to the freight, bunker charges. Right? Stamp එකක් තියෙනවා. Those are not discrepancies. Okay? BL contains a clause goods may be loaded on deck. I have discussed. The DC contains a clause goods to be shipped on a vessel which is not more than 15 years old. Not more than 15 years old. Right? The BL does not contain a clause to this effect, and even the document submitted does not include a certificate to this effect. What are you going to do? Do you think it's a discrepancy or not? DC clause එක තමයි goods to be shipped on a vessel which is not more than 15 years old. මේ BL එකේ clause එකක් ගහලා නැහැ මේක 15 years ද නැද්ද කියලා. Even the documents submitted does not include certificate to this effect. So what is your position? Article 14H. Article 14H. It clearly says, if a credit contains a condition without stipulating the document to indicate, compliance with the conditions, banks will deem such condition as not stated and will disregard it. Very clearly. The මෙතෙන්ද කියලා නැහැ goods to be shipped on a vessel which is not more than 15 years old. They have not asked for any confirmation. Make හරියට word කරනවා නම් මේ clause එක word වෙන්න ඕනේ which is not more than 15 years old, and a certificate to that effect. A certificate to that effect should be attached with the documents. And we'll have to get a certificate. Right? Otherwise, we can disregard it. Right? Non-documentary condition. Non-documentary condition. අපි මේ වගේ වට කියන්නේ non-documentary conditions කියලා. Remind me to discuss this particular one, URR 725, right? URR 725 මම හිතන්නේ මම කළොත් හොඳයි කියලා. අඩු ගානේ මේ පන්තියේ ඉන්න ළමයි දෙන්නෙක් ඒ ළමයි දෙන්න කරලා නැති හින්දා ඒ ළමයින්ට කරන උපහාරයක් හැටියට මම කරන්න. Are you happy, Marsha?
Yes, sir.
Right? I will do them. We'll make 725. Nitarama දැන් questions වලට එනවා. They are testing. Right? So we will do it later. මම ඒක note කරලා කරන්න. ඒ කරාම then we will discuss this question. Even this one, case study 18, is also just imagine all reimbursement. ඒ ඔක්කොම බලන්න ඕන. Right? Right. Now, Okay, study 19. We don't have much time to do it. Case study 19 එකේ මම කියන්නම් උල් ලියන්න උත්තර ලියන්න. Case study 19 එකට relevant article එක වෙන්නේ, you have to study this particular article and then write it. Article 10b. 10b. Right? 10b එක බලලා උත්තරේ ලියන්න. Amendments. Then we can discuss. Case study 20 එකට case study 20 එකට the relevant article is 10c. 10c. Right? Read it and then answer the questions. 21. This is Article 14I. Article 14I. 1(4), sub-article I. 22. Article 15b. 15b. Article 23. Article 14 එකේ තමයි ගොඩක් එන්නේ ඔයගලන්ට. 14C. This is very, once you read this one, it is very clear. Article 16C and 16F. 16C and 16F. Discrepant documents waiver notice. 16C එකෙත් එන්නේ 16C3 and 16F. Read those articles and write the answer. Last one, case study 25. මේක අපි ඩිස්කස් කරන්න යනවා පස්සේ. right? ඒතර මම ওই ටික ඔයගොල්ලොත් එක්ක මේ කලේ. Unfortunately, only 2 people are getting benefited. Never mind. Right? Well, today I have given you another questions, the 10 or 15 questions on URC 522. URC 522. Right? On collection. මේ ටිකත් කරන්න. මේ ටිකත් කරගෙන ඉවරනට පස්සේ අපි about 2 weeks වලින් විතර වගේ මේක question ටික discuss කරමු. ඒක කරන්න නම් ඔයගොල්ලෝ කරලා තියෙන්න ඕන. case studies කරලා තියෙන්න ඕන. කොහොමද case studies තියෙනවා 10ක්. case studies 10ක් තියෙනවා. මේකත් exam එකට ගොඩාක් වෙලාට මේ questions තමයි එන්නේ. මේ මම අදලා ඉස්ලාම what few years back මේක පටන් ගත්ත කාලේ මම දීපු questions එක මේකම කැරි ගොඩක් වෙලාට එනවා. right? මේකම කැරි ගොඩක් වෙලාට එනවා. ඒකින්ද මේ ටික කරලා බලන්න. okay, fine, then we'll meet on Sunday, our normal class, right? And we'll try to discuss another area, not a core area, but that area is also been tested. I don't know why. Then ගොඩක් මේ papers වල මම දැක්කා හරියට මේ non banking ඒවා ටික හරියට test වෙනවා, right? බලමු අපි ඒවත් check කරලා ඒකට cover කරගන්න ඕන ඔය IMF, World Bank, ADB, Asian Development Bank, ඒ වගේ banks ගැන තියෙන areas වගේ අපි ඒ ටික discuss කරලා බලමු on Sunday. Okay? Do you have any questions? If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, thank you very much, these two girls, for your participation